Hello everyone, buenos dias, and welcome to the Spanish GCSE and iGCSE video tutorial. In this particular video tutorial, we are looking at how to prepare for the photocard. The photocard is a very important part of the Spanish GCSE and iGCSE speaking exam for certain exam boards, and I'm going to give you tips on how to maximize your marks in the photocard section, how to prepare as well as possible, and all of the necessary exam technique as well. So, just to introduce myself, first of all, I'm Dhananjay Talwar, and I studied French and Italian for my MA at the University of Cambridge. I graduated back in 2015, and I've been an educator, mainly a tutor, since then. I've learned over 20 languages myself to different levels, and that includes at least 9 to fluency, including Spanish, of course. So it's a real hobby and a real passion of mine, without a doubt. And I likewise really enjoy motivating my students, getting the best out of them, enthusing them, and making sure that they understand the benefits of learning languages, methods to learn languages more effectively, and to enjoy the process as well, to get to their target grades, often for exams like GCSEs or iGCSEs. And so far, I've done this with over 500 students, helping them achieve or exceed their target grade in languages for GCSEs or iGCSE exams as a full-time tutor. I've taught 8 languages at least to GCSE and iGCSE levels so far, and several of those at higher levels as well. So it's been very rewarding. Now, these are the Spanish GCSE and iGCSE exam boards. These should be correct. As for August 2025, there are 4 exam boards for GCSE Spanish and 2 for iGCSE Spanish. And I recommend being aware of which exam board you're studying as early as possible, because there can be differences from exam board to exam board, and even between foundation tier and higher tier for all of these 4 GCSE Spanish exam boards. The content of this particular video, though, is the photocard, or picture-based discussion, as it can sometimes be known instead. And that is relevant for all of these exam boards that are in bold here. So AQA, Pearson edXL GCSE, WJEC Educus, and Pearson edXL iGCSE. Those are the exam boards which do have a photocard or picture-based discussion currently as part of their Spanish GCSE or iGCSE speaking test. So if you're a student doing any of those exam boards, then do carry on watching, because this should be very useful for you. Now, what actually is the photocard? The photocard is usually the second part of your Spanish GCSE or iGCSE speaking exam. The format and syllabus for some exam boards like AQA and Pearson edXL GCSE has changed a little for language exams from 2026 onwards. So the photocard may no longer be necessarily exactly the second part of your Spanish GCSE or iGCSE speaking exam. However, it does normally take place in between the role play and topic-based conversations. The photocard itself consists of an image or images now, because for AQA and Pearson edXL GCSE for exams from 2026 onwards, as we'll see, you can have 2 images on the photocard. But the photocard will always be based on a specific topic area for that exam board. Everything on the photocard will be based on that one specific topic area. And if you want to see the topic areas for your exam board, there is considerable overlap in terms of exam boards for the topic areas. But you can check out the website of your exam board to view the topic areas that could come up in your Spanish GCSE or iGCSE papers. And of course, the student needs to answer questions based on the photocard and on the wider topic area. So the first questions will tend to be very much specific to the photocard and the photos and material on there, before then becoming more general and slightly less specific or specialized in nature, and addressing the topic area as a whole. Within the photocard, there are usually, but not necessarily, up to 5 questions for the student to answer in all. So 5 would be the maximum for most exam boards. You can have less than that as well. And again, there is slight variation from exam board to exam board, and depending potentially on whether you're doing foundation or higher tier as well. The student is also usually required to ask the examiner a question, Again, this can vary, so make sure that you have the most accurate information available for how it's going to go for you in your photo card, in your Spanish GCSE or iGCSE speaking. The first question almost inevitably will ask the student to describe the image or images that are there on the photo card. That is pretty much universally the case for all tiers and exam boards. And there can often be unseen questions too, which are not actually written on the photo card. You will have your candidate card for the photo card with you during your 10 to 15 minutes of preparation time. That's the 10 to 15 minutes which you have just before you go into the actual speaking exam. And so you can prepare as much as possible for your photo card. I highly recommend doing that. But there can be unseen questions that come up in the photo card section as well. So you may find you're not necessarily able to prepare exactly what you're going to say for every part of the photo card section of your speaking exam. There could be unseen questions too. And the questions will initially focus on the image or images on the photo card specifically, before then expanding to the topic area as a whole. They'll become a lot more general in nature. Okay, these are the top tips across different exam boards and levels for the photo card. So, as mentioned, you will have your photo card with you, your candidate card for the photo card with you as you prepare for your speaking exam before your speaking exam actually starts. You have about 10 to 15 minutes of preparation time. That exact duration does vary depending on your exam board, but certainly using that time as well as possible is crucial and can make a real difference for all parts of the speaking exam, but certainly the photo card as well. So try and prepare as much as possible for the photo card. Try and think through exactly you're going to say exactly when in the photo card part of your speaking exam. And you're often allowed to write notes on a separate piece of paper too in your prep time. So if you can, then I highly recommend using that as well. For the photo card, this is different now to the role play. So whereas for the role play, keeping it simple and accurate in Spanish is very much your priority. For your photo card, I would definitely recommend expanding at least a bit further on your answers. Even aiming for 2 to 3 sentences per answer can be good. It's often usually better to give more information rather than too little. And likewise, because the photo card is somewhat more challenging or demanding than the role play, you will be expected to use a wider range of grammar structures, a wider range of vocabulary potentially, and to vary your tenses somewhat more than in the role play. So sticking with just the present tense is no longer likely to be enough at all to score highly. I would definitely throw in other tenses such as the past tenses or future tenses too. And in Spanish, there's a wide array of different verb tenses, which gives you plenty of options to choose from. And try and use topic-specific vocabulary as well. So the photo card and the images there will be related to one specific topic area for your exam board. And if you know vocabulary specific to that topic area, that can also help you to score marks. Remember as well to ask the examiner a question. This does vary depending on your exam board, but if you are required to ask the examiner a question, then of course, make sure to not forget that. Okay, now I will show you a few examples. This particular example actually comes from the new content, the new format for Pearson Edexcel GCSE. This is, the new format and syllabus from 2026 onwards. So this is taken from the sample material for that, and specifically for foundation tier. You'll see that for Pearson Edexcel GCSE and for AQA now as well, there are actually 2 pictures that you're given, which is unusual and new. And both of those are shown here on the left-hand side, while the instructions are written on the right-hand side over here. And they say, describe one of these pictures. You will tell your teacher which one you've chosen to describe. Your description must cover people, location, activity. When you've finished your description, your teacher will ask you 2 questions relating to your chosen picture. You're expected to say a few words or a short phrase or sentence in response to each question. One-word answers will not be sufficient to gain full marks. You'll then move on to a conversation on the broader thematic context of lifestyle and well-being. And during the conversation, your teacher will ask you questions in the present, past, and future tenses. Your responses should be as full and detailed as possible. Okay, so those are quite thorough instructions. And certainly the first thing to do when you're presented with your photo card is to read through the instructions as carefully as you can and make sure that you understand exactly what you'll be required to do. You can note here that you only have to describe one of these pictures, not both. So you would simply choose one of the two and describe one of them. You'd never be asked to describe more than one photo or picture card or picture in your photo card section of your speaking test at all. The questions will start off much more specific to the photo card before ending in a much wider discussion, and try and expand on your answers as it mentions specifically here. Everybody will have to describe one photo, so that is a very useful skill to practice. And I will show you my ideal answers for this just now. I've actually focused on the follow-up questions rather than on the description of the photo, because we will see an example of a photo description slightly later on in this video. Of course, bear in mind that for the real thing, if you're doing Pearson, Edexcel, GCSE, then you would be asked to respond to 2 follow-up questions related to one of these 2 pictures, not both of them. But just for the sake of practice and to illustrate the nature of these questions, I've prepared sample answers for follow-up questions for both of these pictures. Okay, so let me show that now. So if you've chosen to describe picture 1, then these would be the 2 follow-up questions on picture 1. A, which is ¿qué prefieres comer? What do you prefer to eat? And B, ¿qué bebes para estar sano o sana? What do you drink to be healthy? For picture 2, if you've chosen to describe picture 2 instead, you'd have these 2 follow-up questions for this particular photo card. ¿Qué deportes practicas? What sports do you play? And ¿qué piensas sobre hacer deportes con amigos o amigas? What do you think about playing sports with friends? So, of course, remember that you'd only have to answer questions for one of the 2 pictures for Pearson, Edexcel, GCSE, and there is now some variation from exam board to exam board in the exact format nature of the photo card. These are my example answers for these particular photo cards. Again, you would have to do a description first of the picture that you've chosen, but I'll give an example of that shortly, just now. Here, I've actually focused on the follow-up questions only. And my answers, my ideal answers for those, are given in orange, just underneath each question. Questions themselves are written out in red, and I've provided translation for everything in brackets in English too. So let me give you a bit of time to read over all of this. And I'll just draw your attention to some parts or some features of my answers too. So you can see that I've actually kept the answers relatively simple. I haven't used extremely complex grammar and vocabulary. I've tried to use some more topic-specific vocabulary related to, say, healthy living and sports, and some slightly more complex verb forms. For example, yo no tenga, that's the present subjunctive from the verb tener, to have. This is a more complex construction, si pudiera, if I could, followed by haría, which is conditional tense, in fact, a slightly irregular conditional form from the verb hacer, to do or to make. But I haven't expanded massively on my answers. I've stuck with around 2 to 3 sentences per answer on average. And I haven't tried to throw in as many complex phrases as possible. I have definitely made some effort to vary my grammar and vocabulary and varied it away from just using the present tense, for instance, although I haven't gone crazy with including much more complex verb forms. And I've also made sure, very importantly, that my answers are extremely relevant to the question being asked. Okay, let me show you another example then. So this example 2 is taken from the sample material for AQA, and this is higher tier. So this, again, is for new language exams from 2026 onwards for GCSEs for AQA. You will see the 2 photos here, and the instructions written out on the card as well. So this is for higher tier. The instructions say, during your preparation time, look at the 2 photos. You may make as many notes as you wish on an additional answer sheet and use these notes during the test. Your teacher will ask you to talk about the content of these photos. The recommended time is approximately 1.5 minutes. You must say at least one thing about each photo. After you've spoken about the content of the photos, your teacher will then ask you questions related to any of the topics within the theme of communication and the world around us. So AQA is actually quite unusual in that you do have to comment or you do have to mention both of these photos in some way in your description. That is quite unusual and unique to AQA and to the new format of their speaking exam and photo cards. So everybody will have to do the description of at least one photo. And when you're doing so, it's useful to describe everything that you can see. You can even potentially try and imagine details that are not actually there, such as what the people may have been doing before the photo was taken or just afterwards, or speculate about where the photo may be or other details, usually describing what you can see, each person, what they're wearing, what they appear to be doing, and so on is a great starting point. And obviously the accuracy of the Spanish is very important too. So let me show you an example of how I would describe these two photos. Also note that for AQA, you do have to provide a fairly lengthy description and you don't have follow-up questions related to the specific photos for the new format of AQA photo cards, at least. You would have to talk about these for almost 1.5 minutes if possible. So that's a fairly lengthy description. And this is how I would describe the photos. So the question itself is given in red, which is just háblame de las fotos, tell me about the photos. And the exact answer I would give if I were the candidate is in orange just below that, with the translation further down in English. So let me give you a little bit of time to read over that. You can see that, as I mentioned, I very much focused on describing everything I can see within the photo, within each photo actually, in as much detail as possible. I've tried to give details of all the people that are in each photo, what they appear to be doing, what they are wearing as well. These are common things to do when describing a photo card. And I've given potentially other details which are not specifically on the photo card too, such as for the first one, I've imagined that the weather is very good because from what I can see, that seems to be the case. For the second one, for example, I've said I presume that these people have just reached their final destination because they seem excited. That's for the second photo card. So these are details that are not strictly actually there in the photos, but that I provided and that allow me to somewhat vary my grammar and vocabulary as well. That's the reason why I've included those too. I've used some more specific vocabulary to do with the topic area of travel and going abroad. And of course, I've made sure that my Spanish is correct and grammatically accurate as well, which is very important. A few different verb forms in there as well, but I haven't varied my tenses hugely at all either. Okay, now there's time for a quick quiz to test your knowledge and understanding of the photo card for Spanish GCSE or iGCSE speaking. So, question number 1. What will the first question on your photo card always ask you to do? It's an interesting one, a useful one to be aware of. Let me show you the answer then. So it will always ask you to describe the photo or photos, because potentially for AQA, as we just saw, you may have to describe both the photos in some way. Question 2 then is true or false. The photo card will always relate to one specific topic area. Is that true or is it false? Let me give you time to think through this. And I'll show you the answer now. So this one is true. And this is stated clearly on your photo card. The specific topic area, that will be given very clearly on your candidate photo card. Yes, remember that it always relates to one specific topic area for your exam board. And you can check the topic areas for your exam board on the website of your exam board as well. Question 3 is also true or false. You should stick to short answers only in the photo card section. Is that one true or is it false? Let me give you a little bit of time to think over this. Okay, and I'll show the answer for this as well. This one is false. Try to expand and show off your language more in your photo card section of your speaking. The photo card is different from the role play. So, yeah, it is useful to expand, to show off and use a wider range of language, especially grammar, and that can directly help your marks as well. Okay, number 4 is the final one here. Should you try to use different tenses in the photo card section? Let me give a little bit of time to think over this. Okay, and I'll show you the answers for this too. This one is true. It is important to vary your tenses and incorporate, at the very least, past, present, and future tenses when answering the photo card section of your speaking test. You can potentially vary it even more. Spanish gives you many different tenses to choose from. But of course, make sure that you're confident in using the tenses that you choose to use correctly as well. Otherwise, you won't score marks for it. Definitely, I would try and use the present tense as well as some past and future tenses at a minimum in the photo card section. Otherwise, it's likely to be difficult to get towards top marks. Right. If you have questions about any of this or for information about more personalized help, which I do offer as well, you can get in touch by email, through Facebook, or Instagram. I post on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn every day, sharing my passion for languages with everyone, motivating people to learn languages, making sure they know the benefits of doing so and how they can do so in fun and efficient ways. But I also post a lot on GCSE and iGCSE, especially for languages again. Making sure people know how to revise and the necessary exam technique, among other things. So do give me a follow on those platforms. I have many resources available, including free resources that can be accessed for languages, including Spanish for GCSE and iGCSE. And I do one-to-one classes, group classes, courses, and other help. So if you'd like to know more about any of that, just reach out.